If you're trying to quit porn and you feel confused, flat, anxious, or like something is wrong with you, I need you to hear this first. Those feelings do not mean that you're broken. They mean that your brain is changing. And most guys fail, not because they're weak, but because nobody explains what's actually happening inside of their brain when they're quitting porn. And when you don't understand what's happening, your brain fills in all those gaps with fear. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through the 3 questions every man asks when they're quitting porn, even if he never says them out loud. But by the end, you're going to understand why what you're feeling is normal, what the real timeline to recovery actually looks like, and whether long-term freedom is genuinely possible for somebody like you. And if you stay to the end, I'll actually show you how to stop fighting urges and how to start rewiring your brain to not even see pornography as an option anymore. So quick context, for over 10 years, I was stuck in the P-word cycle myself. I tried willpower, I tried going on streaks, I tried blocking apps, I tried motivation. None of it actually worked long term. And eventually, I learned how behavior, dopamine, and identities actually work. And once I learned that, and I applied everything to my situation, it changed. And since then, I've been able to help hundreds of men stop repeating the same cycle. And not by becoming more disciplined, but by understanding their brain. And the turning point that always starts with these 3 questions. So question 1, is what I'm feeling normal or is something wrong? So let's start here because this is where most of the fear actually lives. Most guys quit porn within days or weeks. They start to think these things. Why do I feel empty? Why is my motivation gone? Why does my anxiety actually feel higher? Why does my sex drive and libido feel a little off? Did I break my dopamine system? And here's the truth that most people never explain. Your brain isn't broken. You just learn how to regulate your emotions through pornography. So stress, porn, boredom, porn, loneliness, you see where this is going. So when you remove it and you take that option away, your brain temporarily loses that shortcut. It doesn't mean damage. It means withdraw from a learned pattern. So imagine you've been using a GPS to drive around town every single day for 10 years. And then suddenly that GPS shuts off. And you're lost. You're not stupid. You're not broken. You're just disoriented. Like you don't know what to do. And your brain is in the exact process. So discomfort and feeling off, it's not failure. It's actually evidence of rewiring. So the flatness, the restlessness, the mood swings, all that mental noise, these are actually good signs that your brain is just rewiring. And when you go through this phase and you don't know what's actually happening, that's when you start to think something is wrong and then relapse to feel normal again. Which leads us to the second question. How long does it take to actually quit pornography and what can you expect? This is where most of the misinformation lives. People ask, is it 30 days? Is it 90 days? Is it a year? Why do some guys recover faster than others? Well, here's a truth that nobody likes, but everyone needs to hear. There is no single timeline. There are just phases. And when you understand the phases, everything becomes clear. So the 3 phases that your brain goes through, phase 1, the crash. This is the what's wrong with me phase. Your motivation might dip, your urges might actually become stronger, your emotions might actually start to fluctuate a little bit, your dopamine feels low, you might actually experience brain fog, but that's normal. Your brain is just recalibrating sensitivity. Most relapses happen here, not because the urges are somehow different, but because you're uncertain, and that's hard. Phase 2 is the flatline. This is where people think that they're stuck. Things feel off, less chaos, quiet. You might feel different, but it's less exciting. This is just your brain stabilizing again. Your brain is learning how to regulate without extreme dopamine spikes. And most men feel like something's missing and they go back, which is completely wrong. And phase 3 is the rewiring of your identity. This is the phase that's very important to understand. Urges don't disappear, but they lose authority. So now you don't fight them, you don't panic, you don't negotiate. They just pass. Why? Because your identity changed from I'm trying to quit to I'm someone who doesn't even need this anymore. And that leads me to the most important question of them all. Is long-term freedom actually possible? So this question, it's not a yes or no question. It's not logical. Because what you're really asking is, I failed too many times. Will I always go back? Maybe I'm always going to watch it. And I had those same thoughts. I thought, why can't I trust myself? Why can't I be strong enough? And here's a quick mental reframe that can change everything for you. You don't have a discipline problem. You have a conditioning problem. Your brain learned a loop. Trigger, relief, repeat. And your brain is incredible at repeating what works. So the good news is anything learned can be unlearned and rewired. This is why someone can crave porn for years and then one day genuinely not want to watch it anymore. Not because they're stronger, but because they're different. So when I finally broke free, it wasn't because I tried harder. It was because I stopped asking myself, how do I resist the urge? And I started asking myself, what systems in my life keep creating it? And once I worked on the systems, then my environment, my identity, my emotional regulation, my dopamine pathways, that's when the urges lost all their power. And that's when freedom stopped feeling fake. So I want you to walk away with a couple of things. You don't need superhuman discipline to become free from pornography. You don't need to white knuckle urges, and you're not broken. What you need is clarity of what you're actually going through and a way to interpret the urges correctly, plus a system that rewires your responses automatically. And that's when long-term freedom is actually possible. So if you want a simple mental framework, here it is. This is a 3-part plan that I teach my clients on how to quit pornography. Number 1 is normalize the experience. Stop treating these symptoms and kind of stuff going through your brain as failure and realize that your brain is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Number 2 is map your triggers and your loops. So you might not think so, but your urges are predictable patterns. They're not surprises. So track them. Your life depends on it. Where were you when the urge hit? What time of day was it? What were you feeling? And replace the reaction with regulation. So your brain learns new defaults instead of fighting old ones. So for example, whenever I'm home alone and I got the urge, instead of going on my phone and relapsing, I actually threw my phone, I walked outside, and I left my phone inside my house. Because you still need to fulfill the emotion, but it doesn't have to be fulfilled with adult content. And that's what I call neuro reprogramming. And that's how you stop relying on a willpower and start relying on a real system. If this video helped you out even just a little bit, here's what I recommend. I did put together a free training that breaks down why your brain keeps pulling you back to adult content, how to actually interpret urges in real time, and how to start rewiring your brain at the root. You can find it linked down below, so click the link below and I'll send out that video to you right away. This is just something I wish I had years ago. Other than that, see you guys later.